right, get ready because we're diving deep with Denzel Washington today.
Yeah, Denzel. This is going to be
It
good.
really is. And we're not just talking about his movies this time. We're going deeper.
Right into his philosophy. His ideas about, what it takes to be a better man.
Exactly. We're getting into all that. And our source, a really insightful interview he did with Pastor A.R. Bernard at this Better Man event thing.
I've heard about that. Lots of good stuff came out of that.
Yeah, definitely. So if you're ready, I say let's just jump right in. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that really struck me was how much Denzel emphasizes family.
Oh, absolutely. It comes up a lot.
Yeah, he's super open about his own childhood, growing up in a broken home and how that, shaped him.
Yeah, makes sense, right? He really contrasts that with the stability his wife brought into his life. It's a huge theme for him, the whole providing and protecting thing.
Oh, for sure. Remember when he jokes about protecting his wife and like 800 others?
Yeah, he was totally poking fun at himself there.
I know. But it does show how central those roles are to him, providing and protecting, almost like a direct response to the instability he had as a kid,
Definitely. It's interesting how our past experiences shape our values. But it's not just family for Denzel. He also talks about this wild experience he had back in 75.
Oh, yeah, the prophecy.
The prophecy.
And
He's told he's going to preach to millions one day.
And, well, he's an actor, right? So at the time, he basically blows it off. Doesn't even think twice.
But then fast forward, his career takes off.
And millions of people are watching his movies.
Millions! It's like the prophecy came true in this totally unexpected way.
Totally. And what makes it even crazier is that Denzel, he's what, 66 now? He's realized that just doing good deeds isn't enough. He feels this deeper calling now. Like he's got to do good in the right way, whatever that means.
It's a good question for all of us, right? What does it really mean to do good the right way?
Totally. It's easy to get swept up in Denzel's story and forget that these are things we all deal with.
For sure. But let's shift gears for a sec. There's this other fascinating part of the interview where Denzel talks about his acting roles.
Oh, yeah. He actually uses them to get messages across.
Yeah.
Deeper truths,
And he gives this really powerful example, the death scene in Training Day. It's intense.
Oh, yeah, I remember that scene. Powerful stuff. He chose to have his character die in the worst way.
Exactly. Because the character was corrupt, like showing the consequences of his actions,
It's like he's exploring this tension between the heroes he plays on screen and his own personal struggles as a person.
Which brings us to another interesting point. Denzel admits that playing the bad guy in Training Day, that was the easiest role for him.
Oh, wow. Makes you wonder what was going on in his life back then, right?
Absolutely. What demons was he wrestling with that made playing a corrupt cop feel so, natural?
It's like a reminder that even the biggest stars, they have their own complexities, their own shadows.
Definitely. And speaking of stars, Denzel pushes back on this whole hero label.
Even though so many people see him that way, right?
Yeah, he does. He says a hero elevates your soul, gives you a model of the better part of us. So it's not about him, it's about the good qualities,
And he's very clear. He says, what I played in the movies is not who I am, it's what I played.
Love that. It shows his humility, like he's not buying into the hype, right? Still on his own journey to become a better man.
Totally.
Yeah.
And he seems to rely on mentors a lot for guidance.
Experienced shepherds, he calls them.
Exactly. Like he knows he doesn't have to figure it all out alone, which is a good lesson for all of us.
Definitely. And then there's this other big theme, discipline and consistency.
Yeah, you got that from Pastor Bernard, right?
Right. It's all about turning dreams into action. Denzel even quotes the pastor. He says, without commitment, you'll never start. But without consistency, you'll never finish.
Wow, that's powerful. It applies to anything, not just becoming a better man.
Absolutely. Your career, relationships, anything. Consistency is key. But of course, Denzel's honest about the tough parts, too.
The pitfalls of fame, right? The pressure to live up to expectations.
All of that. But he credits his mother for keeping him grounded.
That's so important. Having those people in your life who keep you real,
Totally. And his perspective on giving is amazing. He says the most selfish thing he's ever done is give.
Because of the joy it brings him.
Right.
Exactly.
It flips the script on the whole selflessness thing, like true fulfillment comes from helping others.
I love that. And it reminds me of that line from American Gangster, my man.
Simple but powerful. About connection, looking out for each other. It's not just about individual success.
Right. It's about building something together. Which brings us back to this big question of the day.
What does it mean to be a better man?
Denzel doesn't give us a straight answer, does he?
He doesn't. Almost like he wants us to figure it out ourselves.
Which is pretty cool. It makes us think, right?
Yeah.
So what does being a better man mean to you?
What qualities, what actions, it's worth thinking about.
Definitely is. And hey, in our next part, we're going to look at some concrete steps you can take.
To become that better man, whatever that means to you.
Exactly. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be good.
It's really interesting how Denzel ties his faith into all of this whole better man idea.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big part of who he is.
But he's not preachy about it, you know? He emphasizes taking responsibility for yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Remember that line. Don't listen to me, listen to God.
Exactly. Like he's separating himself from the Denzel persona, acknowledging that he's not perfect.
Right. Still striving, still growing.
And a big part of that seems to be service to others. He talks about staying on his knees, which I think is a powerful metaphor.
Yeah, like humility. Seeking guidance.
And even with all his success, he knows there's something bigger than him, something he answers to.
It's a humbling perspective for sure.
And it shows in his advice too, like when he talks about facing challenges.
Oh, right. Finding the opportunity in the struggle.
Exactly. It's about mindset, choosing to see obstacles as a chance to grow.
It reminds me of so many of his characters. Overcoming adversity.
That classic hero's journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Denzel, he brings this realness to it.
Oh, totally. You feel the struggle, the weight of their decisions.
And he's just as real when talking about fame.
He doesn't shy away from the tough stuff.
Yeah.
The loneliness, the pressure.
It's a good reminder that success doesn't solve everything, right?
For sure. But Denzel seems to have found a way to navigate it all with grace.
A lot of that goes back to his faith, I think, and his family.
He talks a lot about his mother, keeping him grounded even when he was young and starting out.
So important, those roots. It all comes back to who raised us,
Absolutely. And I think that's part of what Denzel means when he talks about being a better man.
It's a whole package deal. Values, service, growth.
He also talks about setting goals.
Yeah.
Making your dreams actionable.
Right. He's like, look, I'm still working on it, but here's what helps me. It's practical advice,
It is. And it's inspiring because he's not pretending to have it all figured out.
He's on the journey with us, still learning and growing.
It gives me hope, It's okay to not have all the answers.
Exactly. Keep striving, keep learning. But one thing's for sure, Denzel's better man. It goes way beyond outward success, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's deeper than that. Character, integrity.
Things that really matter. So, as we wrap up this part, let's bring it back to you.
What does being a better man mean to you?
What qualities come to mind? What would you do differently?
It's a question worth pondering. And in our last part, we're going to explore some real steps you can take.
To actually become that better man, whatever that looks like for you.
We've talked about it a lot with Denzel. Family, faith, dealing with success.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah, pretty much. But what really gets me is how much he stresses taking action. You can't just think about being better, got to do something, right?
100%. He got that from Pastor Bernard, that discipline, that consistency.
Oh yeah, the pastor. Without commitment, you'll never start, but without consistency, you'll never finish.
Man, that's powerful.
It's so true though. We get caught up in these big dreams, but it's the little things we do every day. The daily grind, right? That's what moves the needle.
Exactly. Small steps, steady progress. Not about being perfect, just about moving forward.
So true. Like, what could you do today? Be more present with your kids, volunteer, quit that bad habit, whatever it is for you.
Exactly. And when you mess up, because we all do, you just learn from it, get back on track.
Denzel's super open about his own struggles, shows they made him who he is.
Right. None of us are perfect. It's how we handle the tough stuff that matters.
He's just a guy trying to do better, It's inspiring.
It really is. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. What's one small step you can take today to be a better man?
Reach out to someone, lend a hand, take some time for yourself, anything.
Remember what Denzel said, dreams without goals are just dreams. So what's your goal? Make it real. Start today.
Well said. And hey, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
We hope you got something out of it.
Remember, this journey, becoming better, it's ongoing. And we're all in it together. So keep striving, keep learning, and we'll see you next time.
If you like the podcast, make sure you subscribe for the next session.